Am I the asshole? Telling a foreign customer in Japan to leave the cafe if he wasn't going to buy anything. I'm an American living in Japan and spoke up to another American, who I think is in the military stationed here. The guy was sitting near me in a cafe sipping on his can of Sprite, when a staff member, a Japanese customer, and the manager all spoke to him one after the other, in broken English. That it's the rule he has to buy something if he's sitting inside. He just kept saying, "No thank you," to them, pretending to be polite. I felt like he was abusing the fact that they couldn't speak much English, so I spoke up and said something like, "Hey bro, if you're not gonna order just leave, you don't have to be a DCK about it." He got all offended and shrugged me off. He was there for an hour with his buddies, 4 guys total, only 2 bought drinks, he never ordered a thing, and before leaving his buddy came up to me, and although his body language and tone of voice were calm, asked me 3 times in a row, "Are you having a good day?" This wasn't my issue to get involved with, I'm aware. I just hate to see staff have to deal with rude foreign customers. Am I the asshole? Edit. Extra information to clear up a point of confusion in the comments. When the staff spoke to him, and when I spoke to him, he was by himself. He was diagonal from me at a large 8-seat table usually used for people just self-studying, working on their computer, etc. A few minutes after I spoke to him, his 3 friends show up, 2 of them having bought drinks. I heard everything he said to the staff, and he never mentioned that his friends were in line, or that he was here with others. So basically, when all this went down, it was assumed that he was just a random guy purposefully disobeying the rules that the staff were trying to explain to him. Not the asshole. I hate it when people play the gaijin card here so they can be rude and flaunt the rules. The staff were probably thankful you helped since the guy was playing dumb. Edit. Should be, flout, not flaunt. Bad English. It's not your job to enforce the cafe's policies. But your behavior doesn't breach acceptable communication standards. You wanted to make sure they understood the rules. They made it clear that they did, and were intending to violate them. Not the asshole. This is why Japanese restaurants refuse to serve foreigners. As an American, thank you for speaking up. It might not have been your place necessarily, but we should all be calling out bad behavior when we see it so long as you aren't being disruptive to the other patrons. I happen to be in Japan at the moment and every time I need a bathroom I make sure I purchase something. Not that difficult, they were just being DCKS about it. It was not your job to say anything, but I would probably have done the same as you. Not the asshole. When I was in Amsterdam with a couple of idiot friends, we went to a cafe so they could smoke. They didn't want anything to drink but I knew they should buy something. I went to the counter and ordered a Coke and the bartender said they need to order something too. I was so embarrassed. Am I the asshole for not contributing to my girlfriend's mortgage or moving back in? Last year, my girlfriend bought a house and I moved in with her. She has a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Things were going well at first, and I was happy to contribute to the household even though my name wasn't on the mortgage. We didn't add me to the deed because my credit was poor at the time, and I already owned a home that I rent out. The mortgage on her house is around $5,000 per month. I was contributing $2,000 monthly, which was the most I could afford due to loans, credit card debt, and other financial responsibilities. A few months in, she told me she was going to let her daughter's father, move in to help with co-parenting. I wasn't excited about the idea, but I tried to be understanding since I know how important stability is for their daughter. Over time, though, it became clear that her ex still had feelings for her. He was overly familiar and acted like he was still part of the relationship. It made me very uncomfortable and I started to feel like a third wheel in the home. She doesn't want to kick out her ex because he helps a lot with their daughter. After a while, I decided to move out for my own mental and emotional well-being. Now, my girlfriend is upset that I won't move back in or continue contributing to the mortgage. I've told her that I'm not comfortable living in the same house as her ex, and that I don't feel it's fair to keep financially supporting a property I don't have any ownership in, especially under these circumstances. I care about her and her daughter, but I also need to look after my own financial and emotional health. Am I the asshole? Sue. What you are saying is that she moves her ex in without having him contribute to the mortgage as rent. If he lives there, he can pay the $2,000. Her wanting you to pay up after moving out is not you being an afterthought. It is you being the sugar daddy. Not the asshole. She bought the house, her name on the mortgage. She took on the responsibility of $5,000 a month, which is absurd, and that was her choice. You were contributing to the bills at the time because you were living there and because you were in a relationship. When that relationship ended, so did the implied agreement to live there and pay your share. If you're no longer living there and no longer in a relationship, then you have no obligation. Not the asshole, but you are a chump. Girlfriend has her ex move back in, that alone is enough to break up. That she wants you to move back in but not kick her ex out tells me that they're using you. Get over your emotions for her and her kid. You don't want to walk another day down this path. It only leads to heartbreak for you. Not the asshole. You're not on the mortgage, and you're not currently living there. Cut and dry. Relationship-wise, I'm sorry, but there are feelings between them. Either on both sides, or one. A majority of co-parents don't live together, and those who choose to usually set very firm boundaries, and it's usually for a very young child or one who is medically complex. There isn't really a reason to, especially as child is old enough, and one or both parents are in a relationship. Coming from a co-parent. And honestly, that's got to be pretty confusing for the child, especially now that their parents are living together, and you moved out. I'd leave this relationship. Good luck. Not the asshole, I'm amazed you stayed as long as you did. Separated parents can co-parent apart, they just need to communicate. Living together like that is just a bad idea. If you were contributing $2,000, her ex was probably paying the other $3,000. Move on.